What's up, Foxy people? Welcome back to my channel. Today we're talking about all things fonts. So if you've noticed on Design Space, Cricut offers quite a few fonts. If you have Cricut Access, you get it for free. And if you don't have Cricut Access, you can still purchase each font individually for about, like, I think it's $3.99, $2.99 to $4.99. And then of course it also offers like the normal ones that come with Microsoft Word, that kind of stuff. That it's really just included in your computer, basically. So today's video, not only am I going to show you how to use the fonts and the different features that you can do with the fonts, but also how to download free fonts and use them in Design Space. The cool thing about that is that you can use them in other programs as well. They're not just for Design Space. Once you download them, you can use them in Microsoft Word again, PowerPoint, any software that you have on your computer. These fonts are compatible with. Now, I personally work with a MacBook Pro, but these same steps are used for any computer. I've also tried it with like my at-home desktop computer, and it's the same thing. So let's get into downloading and working with some fonts. Okay, I just want to give a little disclaimer before I start. You might hear like my keyboard clicks in here. I'm still trying to learn this software and I don't know exactly how to turn it off with still having my mic working. So I will try my best to not make them very loud, but just letting you know, hopefully I can get that sorted out really soon. Anyways, so in Design Space, when you want to type anything out, you just go to text and you'll start texting your words here. So I'm going to use this because I need it for a project I'm working on. So then right here is your font options. We click there and there's all these options to choose from. Now, I don't have Cricut Access. I don't pay for it. It is a very useful subscription if you use it often. I, however, know how to get free fonts and free images, so I don't pay for the subscription. Now, if there is a font that I want or an image that I want that I can't find elsewhere, then I will just purchase that at the time instead of paying for the whole subscription. You also get 10% off all of your orders from Cricut.com, like anything you order from Cricut.com. If you have Cricut Access, you will get 10% off your orders whenever you order. So I mean, it is a very useful subscription. I personally just don't care for it. So because I don't have Cricut Access, you can see right here that there's going to be a price as well as this A next to it. This A means that if you have Cricut Access, then this font is included within it. So all the fonts that have A's next to it means that if you have Cricut Access, then you will actually get those for free. Same thing with in images. When you want to upload, or when you want to choose one of the images that Design Space offers, see how there's an A there? That means with Cricut Access, you would be getting this image for free. Without Cricut Access, the payment is 99 cents. But this is a tutorial about fonts. So, now another thing that you can notice right here, see this says multi-layered cutting and writing, meaning that you can cut it or write with one of the Cricut pens. So a multi-layered cutting font, it means, see over here, there's two different colors. So right now it's actually showing that the black is hidden. So there you go. So this font would cut into different colors. So you have the gray on the inside and the black on the outside. Now you could change the color if you wanted it to be blue or green. You can do whatever you want with that. And then when you go to cut it, it will give you two different mats. So it's saying to cut the part on gray, and then the background with the outline would be on black. Now because I don't have Cricut access and this is a paid font, see down here it says checkout because it wants me to pay for that font that I'm using. If it was a free font, or if you had Cricut access and it wasn't something you had to pay for, right here would just say continue, and it would bring you on to the machine, like the next step for cutting. Now if you don't have Cricut access and you still want, say, this font, you can download it with this button. So you would pay the $4.99 fee and you would have that font forever. But this video I am showing you how to download free fonts and be able to use them in Design Space. So we're gonna get to that in just a minute. One other thing I want to mention is the single layer cutting. So single layer cutting just means it's one layer. It's only one color, one layer. So like I showed before, you can change the color up here to whatever color you want, etc. And then right here, your line type. So cut, that means that these letters are going to cut out. You'll have each letter individually. So for a decal, a shirt, anything like that, these letters are going to cut out individually. Draw is the writing tool. So if you have a Cricut pen or marker, then it will draw the outline. Because this is a bolded font, like the Cricut pens cannot color in any bolded font. So if you want to use the Cricut pens for writing, you will have to choose a skinnier font that is not bolded like this, or get it written out like this, and then you'll have to color it yourself. And then you can also, if you have a scoring tool, you could also score it like that. Now with a bolded font, you could also, so when it's on cut, it automatically says no fill. If you want to do print then cut, you would change it here. That's how you change to print then cut. And you can also change the color, not just the color, you can, if it's a bolded font, you can add a pattern to it. So these are just some of the patterns that are included in the system. You can upload your own pattern if you want. You can even upload a picture to use. So if you have, say, a family photo, and you want to cut like the family's last name out of it, you would do that here. So you would upload your picture and then set it as a pattern, and this is all you would do. Click on the pattern you choose, and then it is applied to your font. I'll show you what I'm talking about with the whole picture things. Okay, so in here, we would upload a pattern. Find the picture you want. Now let's just pick that one. Okay, you could add a theme to it, you could add a name, styles, colors, like you can mess around with all of that stuff. So then you would just go on to save. Okay, and it's not going to show up here because it's not an uploaded image. So then we're going to go, let's find a thicker font to use. Okay, let's pick that. So let's say we want to make it really big. So then we're going to add that picture as a pattern. And here's the one we just uploaded, so we're going to click on it. and now it's applied to the picture. So like I said, if you wanted to make a collage, or you have a big family photo and you want to write or like cut out the name of the family on that picture, this is how you would do it. You could also just print out a picture, like the picture that you want, and then cut the letters out of it. But I feel like that's more unnecessary steps. And then this would just, it would send to the, so it's set as a print and cut. So it would print out of your computer, you would put it into the Cricut, and it would cut out the letters individually. So these are all the fonts that are both free and need to be paid for. So it's everything that is available to you to use. Now, if you want to search just your fonts, the ones that don't have to be paid for or ones that you have downloaded, you would go to System. So this is all of the ones that are in your system that are free to use. So if they automatically came with your computer, like a lot do with Microsoft Word and that kind of stuff, or if you downloaded them from another third-party site, as well as DaFont, which I'm going to show you in just a few minutes, that would all be here. So then you don't have to worry about scrolling through, finding a font that you really want and you really like, and then come to find out when you go through all the steps of editing it that you have to pay for it. Because that would really suck. So I always automatically just click on System and go through my what is available, so that like I don't even look at the all. I just automatically click on System. Now Cricut, these are all the ones that Cricut offers. So again, if you had Cricut Access, these would all be free to you, but because I don't, then obviously the payment's there. But these are all the ones that Cricut offers that you can't download or that didn't come with your computer for free. Now, if you know the name of the font, you can search it here. So yeah, you would just click it and pick it. That rhymed. And then lastly, you can also filter them here. So my fonts are multi-layered or single-layered or writing. You can, if you know specifically what kind of font you're looking for, then instead of scrolling through all of them, you can go here to like filter it out to writing. And these would all be fonts that you can use the Cricut pens for. Again, the thicker ones will have to be colored in. And then the last little thing I'm going to touch on, although I did touch on all of this stuff in my Cricut Basics Part 2, which was a whole walkthrough of Design Space, everything in Design Space for beginners. So I'm not really going to go through everything again, but I will quickly just run through a couple of the key points. So like here's your sizing if you don't want to use the arrows. Your font size, you can do it this way by making them bigger, or just manually size it up the way you want. Letter spacing, see how there's a gap here and like a gap here, but the rest of them are pretty close. This is what you would use letter spacing for, to move them closer together. However, this doesn't always work, because it's moving all of them close together. So the ones that are already too close together, like you're not fixing this gap necessarily, right? So the way I personally do that is you ungroup all the letters, click on this one, move it over, click on this one, move it over, and then attach them all back together. So then you do also have the style here. Some fonts you can change to bold or italic. Some fonts, as you can see, don't do it. So let's see, something basic. So like this kind of one, you can bold and make it italic. I can never say that word. Italic. Sure. So like the basic fonts, Basically anything that you would use in Microsoft Word, those are the kind of fonts that you can use these styles for. If it's anything fancy, and most likely ones that you have downloaded, the bold and italic is not going to work for that. So another thing I want to point out is when you are dealing with cursive fonts. So I know one I really love is this one. So again, they're all separated. Cursive, usually they need to be connected, right? So, and plus right now they're all going to be cutting individually. So to connect them, again, use your letter spacing and get them closer together at least. And sometimes you can get most of them to connect. So like these ones are now connected, but these ones are still not. And if I letter space them anymore, because it is down to 0, they're going to get really crammed. So I'm going to go and do this step and move it over to where it's connecting. A little too far. You don't want it overlapping like this. You want it just to where like it matches up and it looks proper. Now we're going to highlight it all, and we're going to weld it. Now I also have another video about all of these features down here. I didn't go through them in details in my part 2, like the walkthrough of Design Space. I didn't go into these into detail with these ones, because these ones, there's a lot of detail with them and I didn't want to just brush over them. So check that out if you need to know. I'll link it up above and down below. So for cursive letters, when they're touching, you're going to want to weld them. Now make sure that what you've done is what you want, because you cannot unweld. The only thing you can do, you can undo it and then fix whatever problem. But like if you group them, you can always ungroup. And if you attach them, you can always detach them. But if you just attach them, it looks like they're connected and whatnot. But then when you go to make it, the letters are all mixed around. I don't know why they do this. It's just, that's how they do it. So the only way to fix your cursive writing is to weld it. Now, when you go to make it, it's all good. Just be very, very careful with welding, because like I said, you can't undo it down the line. If you realize a mistake later on, after you've done other steps, it's gonna suck to have to undo all the way just to fix that. And if you save it and get out of it and go back to it later, there's no fixing it. You will have to delete it and go back and like redo it. So be very careful with welding. I usually only ever use welding when it comes to cursive writing like this. Most of the time, you can get away with just attaching it. So I'm gonna go back and undo that weld, because that's not the font I want. And again, like even when it's welded, you can't change the font, you can't change the color, you can't change the size, nothing. Whoa. So I just grouped it just so that it's easier to move around all in one. it's not going to do anything with my font. Like, you can go to make it, you'll see they're going to be all mixed around. They're not welded together. So I just, anytime I have multiple pieces when I'm working on a project, I will group them together just so that I can move everything one at a time. Or sorry, not even one at a time, all together. Okay, now so for the project I'm working on, there is a specific font that I need that I know I don't have. This is a new computer, so I lost all my fonts. So I know I don't have this font. So what I'm gonna do is show you how we download them and get them into our design space. So we're gonna go to defont.com, and you can click on any of the categories up at the top, and then they have a bunch of different, like there's thousands of fonts on this website. And if you scroll down any of them, you can see that certain letters, like these are all, what are they called? Wingdings or something, like just the little images. But if you find like an actual font and you scroll down like this, you can see what an E would look like or something like that, right? So as you can see at the bottom, as well as up at the top, there's different categories to choose from. You can, if you know the name of the font, you can type it in here. So this is the font that I know I needed, that I didn't have. So I'm going to click on it. You would download it here. But first I want to show you, so if you click on the actual name, you will see like this font specifically has 5 different versions of it. And again, if you scroll all the way down, you can see which lowercase, uppercase will look like. And some fonts even have special like squiggles at the beginning, or this one that has hearts. So I love glitter. This is my favorite like scripted font. So same thing, click on the name, and if you scroll all the way down to the bottom, see how they have these like squiggles and hearts and stuff. So this is what the uppercase looks like, and then the lowercase, and then down here is where you will see how to get that heart. So like the asterisk right there is a heart, or like these squiggles, you press the lines or the bracket. So anytime you find a font that has those kind of special characters, all you have to do is click on the name and scroll down, and you'll be able to see like what you need to press to get those special characters. So going back to the font that I need, we're going to click on download, and then it will go to your download folder on your computer. So then open your downloads folder, double click on it because it comes as a zipped file, so you have to unzip it. So then I'm just going to delete this part, double click on the folder, and here's the 5 fonts that it came with. So you double click on each font, click on install font, and then you will see it will go, if you have a Mac, they have a like in computer font book, so you'll see it pop up there. So same thing, double click on the font, press install font, and go through all of them. And then they're in your system. Now you can see, sometimes when you download a font, you'll get either TTF or OTF. It doesn't matter which one you download. I've downloaded both, and like one or the other, and there's been absolutely no difference. So it's the same thing, double click, install font. Now this is my personal font book, because I would download fonts and then completely forget about them or whatever. Or if I'm doing a project and I want to specifically look for like a bolded font or a writing font, and I didn't want to scroll through everything that is in my Cricut design space, so I made this font book, my own personal font book, And anytime I download a font, I'll just add it in here, the name, an example of what it looks like, and then I'll fill in whether it's bolded, outlined, skinny, writing, that kind of stuff. This is my own personal preference, but it has come in extremely handy. So then once you have all your fonts downloaded, or whatever font you want downloaded, open up Design Space. You have to be logged out of Design Space for the font to load into Design Space. So if you already had the project open and you went to go download a font, you'll have to exit out and get back in to be able to see that font. So then as you'll see, I'm just gonna type in the word that I need to use for this project. And then now when I go up to fonts, I can type in the name of that font that I just downloaded, and there it is. So because this word wouldn't space out properly, I'm just going to make it two different word boxes. Okay, now we're going to get into how, now you see how this specific font has an outline? I want that outline to be a different color. So there's different ways you can do this in different programs. I don't like worrying about all those other programs. I want to figure out how to do what I need to do in just Design Space. So that's what we're going to do today, or right now, is we're going to make that outline the separate color that we need to. So here I'm just making it the size that I need it. You can size it afterwards, but it just would be a lot more work. And then go up to these three lines, go to Settings, and turn your grid lines off. So now it's just completely black behind, or blank behind the words. And then I'm just going to take a screenshot of each word. Again, I have a Mac, it might be different on different computers, but I know you can do screen grabs on different computers. So now I'm going to upload that as an image rather than a font. And then I'm going to get rid of, so this is the first layer, so I'm going to get rid of the insides. So now this is just the outlined part. And always click preview, that looks good, so continue on and save as a cut image. You can name it if you want, you don't have to. If you need to know how to upload images, I'll link another video I did about that. But same thing, so now I'm going to upload it a second time, and now this will be the inside portion of it. So again, just getting rid of all the outer layer, and now I'm going to keep it the way it is. So it looks like a bolded font. Again, save as a cut image, and then upload both of those images. Oh, I only uploaded the one. So there we go, and there's the outlined one. So I'm going to change it to the colors that I need for this project and just overlap them. So as you can see now, it looks like the inside is one color and the outside is another. So I just want to show that it doesn't have to necessarily just be that kind of font. So let me show you what I mean. So this is the font we were using for that last one. And yes, there's like the black outline, and then the white outline, and then the black inner, right? So it doesn't have to necessarily be a font like that. I'll show you another example with a different font. As long as it's an outlined font, it should be fine. So I'm going to go to my font book, and let's find an outlined font. So there's like that kind, or that one. Let's do the bubble one. So that is called Candy Colored Clown. So go up here to our fonts, and I'm going to type in okay, yeah, whatever, just an example. So if this was the font we were using, it would be the same steps, I would say. This is one of 3 ways. I'm going to show you all 3 quickly. So again, no grid lines. And we're going to take a screen grab. All right, get rid of that. Put our grid lines back on. And then we're going to go and upload the image twice like I did with the other one. And then just get rid of all the whites. We're doing just the outlines right now. Always check preview. Okay, so continue on. And then we'll do it again, and this time get rid of the outlines. Or not necessarily get rid of the outlines, but keep it all together. So that's what we're working with. So we're gonna upload both. Like we can change this color to, let's say, blue, move it to the front since it is the outline, and then line it up. Now the only problem I have found with doing it this way is that some of the black still shines through the back of the outline. Like right now it looks black, like even if there was no black behind it, there's still a little bit of the outline, right? But I'm going to insert a clip right now that shows what I mean. Okay guys, see, like, now mind you, my layering was a little off, but even, like, it bleeds through a little bit on the edges. If you can see that. Ignore my nails. But like, see? It bleeds onto the side sometimes. So yeah, so that's the only problem I find with that, is that it does bleed at, like, the back layer bleeds out a little bit. Hey guys, I just wanted to jump on here. I don't know what was up with my words when I was doing this voiceover. Apparently I can't speak, and I was kind of rambling a lot, but anyways. Really quick recap. The first option of doing the layered fonts is definitely the second most easiest, but it does leave you with a lot of room for errors. The second one is more steps, so it's the hardest out of the 3 to do, but it lines up more perfectly. See? Words. And then the third option is absolutely the easiest and probably the most popular. I just personally like to use it as a picture rather than a font. But again, it's going to be everybody's own preference, whatever works for you. I just wanted to show you the 3 different options so that you can play around and figure out which works for you best. Now I'm going to show you how to do the second way of doing this. We're going to do another upload. And again, all of these steps might seem like a lot until you do it. Then it is pretty simple. But it is worth it in the end. It's absolutely worth it in the end. So we're going to get rid of the background. And now we're going to get rid of the outline on all the letters. Now I know you can see that little line that was like surrounding the outline. Like if you go to preview, this is what it looks like, right? That's not what we want, but we're gonna fix that. So we're gonna continue on. Okay, and we'll upload or insert that one. Now again, there's that little black line around it. Now you could layer that top one on, but you're still gonna run into the same issue that you did with this one. Now you could either cut it the way it is and just like get rid of that part once you start weeding it, or we can go down to contour and we're just gonna hide all those lines. So click on all of the lines. Any of these solid ones that you want are the ones that we want to keep. So we're just gonna get rid of all the lines. Now when you have a lot, like I have a lot, right? So I'm gonna actually click on hide all contours, and that's gonna hide all of them, but this one, like it has to keep one. So it will hide all of them. Now I'm gonna go back and unselect the letters I actually want to keep, instead of going through and selecting all the ones I don't want to keep. It's personal preference, but it works out the same in the end. So as you can see up here, as I'm clicking it, it will either get lighter or darken up. If it's dark, it's what will show. So there we have just the inside of the words, right? Or the letters. So now when we go and layer this over top, there won't be that bleed out at the underneath. It will line up more perfectly, if that is a word. Now the third and probably easiest way, but like more wasteful way, I would say, is just to cut the font out twice, and when you're weeding it, then you would duplicate this and change this to the color you want, like the second color you want. Now when it cuts the mat, obviously we know the whole thing's going to be colored, like even where it's white right now, it will still be this blue vinyl on what you're cutting, right? So when you're weeding, you would actually keep the inside of it and weed out the outside instead. Hopefully that made sense. Let me know if you need like a visual instruction about that, and I'll put something together. So yeah, those are the three options you have. You can upload them twice this way and have like a little bleed out possibly. You can do it the second way with the contouring, which is a couple extra steps but looks better in the end. Or you do it this way where you just duplicate it and keep the part you would normally weed out. Either way, it is super simple once you get into it, and once you do it, just keep in mind it does have to be a font that is either bolded or outlined in some sense. So there you have it, guys. Super, super simple, easy steps. The main thing is to remember that you have to be logged out of Design Space to be able to install them properly. If you forgot to log out of Design Space before downloading them, it's fine. You can just close it out and then open it up again and they'll be there. But if you download them and forgot to log out of Design Space, you just won't be able, if you go to try and find them, they won't be loaded into that program until you like exit out and log back in. So hopefully that helped. I know it seems like a lot, but it is really, really simple. And be careful, because I guarantee you will fall down the rabbit hole. With thousands of fonts to choose from, I have literally spent hours just scrolling through all the pages, just looking at the fonts and falling in love and downloading them. I don't even know half the fonts I had on my old computer. I did just lose my computer, like it crashed with everything in it. So when I got my new computer and I started downloading fonts again, that is when I created my personal font book. If you like this kind of content, please give it a big thumbs up so I know to keep creating Cricut tutorials and Cricut information videos. I have so many. I have a whole page and a half worth of ideas I want to do. Make sure that you're subscribed to this channel so that you are the first to be notified when a new video comes out. I also do Disney planning and mommy hacks, lifestyle, that kind of stuff. If there's anything else that you are struggling with, please let me know in the comments below, and I will make sure to make that video next, or at least soon enough. And also don't forget to comment which charity you think we should be donating to this month. If you don't know what I'm talking about, I will leave a link down in the description box explaining all about the donations idea I have come up with. So once again, thank you so much for following along on my journey, and I will see you in the next one. Bye guys. So today's video, I'm gonna show it's okay. That was perfect because I was just about to have a break. Anything else? No? Okay. If there's another oh yeah, I wanted to say something like, okay, let me just start that again.